The Vox Markets Podcast with Justin Waite. Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
And joining me on the podcast right now is James Campbell, Managing Director of Botswana Diamonds. BOD is the ticker there. James, thanks for joining me again.
Good morning, Justin. Lovely to be here.
Yes, well, I don't know where you are. Where are you at the moment, James?
No, I'm in South Africa, which is home to one of our flagship projects, working in the field and meeting new investors, potential new investors, and of course, planning new projects.
Yeah, well, tell us about, summarise, for people not familiar with Botswana Diamonds, you said one of your projects there. Take us through an overview of everything going on, please.
Botswana Diamonds PLC is listed on the London AIM market and also the Botswana Stock Exchange in Gaborone. And we're very firmly focused on exploring and diamond development projects in Southern Africa, chiefly being Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. If I briefly start with Botswana, we have two joint ventures there. The first one with Alrosa, exploring in the central Kalahari of that country, and the second one with BCL, also exploring in the Kalahari of Botswana. Then if I move to South Africa, we have an earn-in arrangement with a company called Vatomi Mining Pty Limited, and that's got a number of different projects. The Thorny River, which I'll talk about in more detail in a moment, the rediscovery of kimberlites in the Free State. These are kimberlites which were last mined in the 1880s and 1890s, and Botswana Diamonds has rediscovered these and are developing these projects. And then we have two other kimberlites, being Palmietkat and Mooikloof in the Limpopo province of South Africa. And then finally, in Zimbabwe, we have a joint venture with another AIM company, this being Vast Resources PLC, where we recently announced a joint venture, firstly to look at the Marangi diamond fields, and then secondly to explore and develop diamond prospects across the rest of Zimbabwe.
Excellent stuff. Yes, well, let's go into this because you've announced some news there that you're advancing towards diamond production, and this is the Thorny River project in South Africa. Take us through what's happening here, if you could, James.
Yes, I could. Thorny River has long been the flagship of the Vatomi venture in South Africa. Thorny River is approximately 50 kilometers east of Mokopane in South Africa, which is about 3 hours north of Johannesburg on a good tar road. What is famous about the Thorny River environment is that it's actually host to the Marsfontein diamond mine, which probably has the fastest payback of any diamond mine in the world. This was about 3.5 days, and it was a joint venture between De Beers and Southern Era Resources, Inc. Botswana Diamonds, through its venture Vatomi, has acreage to the east of Marsfontein, which are essentially high-grade kimberlite dikes. And we have done a considerable amount of work during the course of last year, which include percussion drilling, core drilling, micro-diamond work, and then concluding with bulk sampling work. And later this year, we did a technical and economic evaluation report to look at how we could commercialize this venture. And the purpose of the press release we put out this morning is that we have signed an agreement, a contract, with a company called Paleo Mining Pty Limited. And what they are going to be doing for us is they are going to be bulk sampling the kimberlite dikes and processing the kimberlite. And Botswana Diamonds, through its venture Vatomi, will be collecting 12% of the revenue with no capital outlay on the project itself. This has two major advantages. The first major advantage is that essentially we self-fund the development of an inferred and indicated resource. And secondly, it'll provide revenue for further exploration on the Thorny River project and elsewhere.
Yeah, so it's a sort of win-win situation. So just to get this right, so Paleo Minerals will be bulk sampling, and like you say, they're assuming positive results. You're hoping to get what, royalties between 2 and 7 million annually? Is that right?
That's correct.
That's
Justin.
US dollars, of course. Yeah.
That's correct. And diamonds are sold in US dollars, and that's why we've denominated it in US dollars. And one must set that against our typical annual cash burn of around £1 million per annum, which covers our exploration costs and our overheads across southern Africa.
Yeah, okay. So when that starts, you'll be sort of self-funding then, I suppose.
That is the plan, Justin. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, good stuff. Excellent stuff. Well, James, I mean that estimate there, it's quite a big estimate from 2 to 7 million. How do you know, how do you estimate that? How do you arrive at those figures?
Justin, it's a very good question. Now, because we don't have an inferred resource and we have only taken it up to a deposit level, when we wrote up the competent persons report for this project, which we did in December of last year, we gave grade and value ranges. We gave a grade range of between 46 and 74 carats per 100 tons, and a diamond value range of between $120 and $220 per carat. So the calculation of between $2 and $7 million is really quite simple. It's based on an anticipated processing target of 30,000 tons per month. The lower end is the lower grade multiplied by the lower value, and the higher end is the higher grade multiplied by the higher value. Now, according to SAMREC, which is one of the resource codes which we ascribe to, if you haven't got a resource and only a deposit, you have to quote ranges in grades and diamond values.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent stuff. Well, it sounds very interesting. Sounds very unique. Well, I don't know if it's unique, but it's an excellent workaround there on how to attain revenue. So, James, if someone's listening right now, likes the sound of what you're doing here, but are not following the story, go on, give them the 3 reasons why they should hit that follow button on your page and add you to their watch list, please.
Absolutely, Justin. The first one is diamonds, the strongest recovering commodity post the global financial crisis and the least volatile. And that's a fairly unknown point. The second one is Southern Africa, being Zimbabwe, Botswana and South Africa, is the most prolific diamond producing area in the world. And the corollary to that, being the third point, is that it is also one of the most underexplored for various geopolitical reasons, and Botswana Diamonds is the most active explorer and developer in the region.
Excellent stuff, James. Good to chat to you. Hopefully we'll be catching up again in the not-too-distant future. Thanks very much.
Hope so too, Justin. Thank you so much.
The Vox Markets Podcast. With Justin Waite, nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.